I like watched Reputation, the tour on Netflix, to kind of prep myself for this. And like, I need to say something about this rainbow snake situation. Is that I was talking to you about it while I was watching it, and I was like, Taylor Swift literally has been using like rainbow lighting throughout this entire one entire song, and she's lit the snakes in like rainbow colors. And I'm just like, has she literally been planning this album for that long? Like, the aesthetic and everything.
I read this article where someone had picked up that, or she had admitted that in the Delicate music video, which was even before kind of the stadium tour, she had pastel nail polish in it, and that was a hint to the new era.
Oh my God. Let's just start with me, because like, obviously, me was massive. That was a massive day for me. Like,
yeah, me too. It was the most extra drop, I think, that she's done.
Yeah,
where,
no,
like, she
agreed.
always does a big drop, but like, she's the thing I sort of love about the like TS7 me era is she's always been fantastic at marketing, and she's always been fantastic at social, and I feel like she genuinely understands that side of her industry sort of better than anybody else.
Oh yeah.
And because of that, she just runs her shit, and it's amazing, and it's like, I feel like she just knows what people want from her, and she gives it to us within reason. Like, she never gives us what we want, but she gives us enough to kind of like sustain us for 2 months. But yeah, that was the me drop. I think I haven't actually been that excited for something to drop in a while. I don't know what it was, but it just made me feel like I actually had adrenaline that day at work. Like, I could not focus.
I just wanted to see like what me was going to be like, because let's be honest, Reputation was like Taylor's like fuck you all album. I'm going to do what I want. This is me. If you don't like it, go fuck yourself, kind of thing.
Yeah. That was 100% what it was.
Yeah. She was just like, you know what? You can say whatever
like,
you want about me. I don't care anymore. I just love that. Like, Reputation, I have to say, like, we definitely are going to talk about it, like, later on in this series. But
yeah,
I just have to say, like, fucking props to her. I can only think of, like, one other artist who could drop an album and not do interviews. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Beyonce, obviously.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, she does it anyway. But
she does it, you know what I mean? Like, Taylor Swift literally just dropped an album, no press interviews, no nothing. And
for 3 years, by the way.
For 3 years. Yeah, crazy.
Like, I didn't realise it had been that long since we'd heard from her. She just out-earned Kylie Jenner and Kanye West for the year.
Yeah, and the thing is, she wasn't even active.
No.
For most of that year. Let's talk about that.
You know, I won't knock another woman's hustle. If you're making bank and you're not hurting anybody, do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. I'm like so here for it. But let's talk about me. She just dropped the film clip, and it was just like Rainbow motherfucking City. and I like watched Reputation, the tour on Netflix, to kind of prep myself for this. And like, I need to say something about this rainbow snake situation. Is that I was talking to you about it while I was watching it, and I was like, Taylor Swift literally has been using like rainbow lighting throughout this entire one entire song, and she's lit the snakes in like rainbow colors. And I'm just like, has she literally been planning this album for that long? Like, the aesthetic and everything.
I read this article where someone had picked up that, or she had admitted that in the Delicate music video, which was even before kind of the stadium tour, she had pastel nail polish in it, and that was a hint to the new era.
Oh my God.
How meticulous do you have to be to know, okay, I know enough about the next era right now in this era that I can start dropping hints in these music videos. And
this is why
in the tour.
Yeah. This is why I call it the Taylor Swift canon. Like, it's just like she literally has, it's so well executed, so well thought out. And like, I just think that is incredible. I also was wondering while I was watching Me, like, she starts speaking French at the start, And I'm just wondering if that's like also an Easter egg for something else to come. Like,
well, it has to be, right? Because that translated to "You Need to Calm Down."
Yeah,
that was the
exactly.
hint to the next single.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm just wondering, like, what is the French thing, you know, pointing to now? Like, it's just, there's so many things, so many questions I have. And, like, obviously the biggest thing of me is, like, people are thinking this album's going to be Taylor Swift coming out. This is her coming out as bi.
Yeah,
so what are your,
that was...
like, you have a lot of opinions about this, I know.
I have so many opinions. And so many thoughts. Me in general, sort of how I'm looking at it now is it's like, it's a bop. Like, it's not a bop. It was a great first single.
Yeah.
It's super catchy. I love it. I kind of love the, like, sentiment behind it as well of just like, you know what? This is who the fuck I am. You'll never find someone else like it. Take it or leave it. I don't care. Yeah. And, like, at the end of the day, the music video was just so chockers with Easter eggs that I don't think we're going to realise what they mean for years to come.
Yeah.
Just like we're looking back at Reputation now and going like, oh my God, there is still so much in here that's only unfolding now.
Exactly.
Here's the thing is, it's like I've always been a big fan of the music and I, like, you know, always watch the interviews and stuff like that, but I never found myself falling into, like, the really big fan pockets that form.
Yeah.
Like, you've got Taylor, you've got your broad range of Swifties, and then you've got the ones who are, like, you know, like, talking about, like, her relationships. Like, there was heaps for, like, Harry Styles, and there was, like, you know, like, there's different pockets, and the one pocket that I think everybody is aware of by now is the Kayla pocket, which was the whole saga with Karlie Kloss and whether or not they were dating.
Yeah.
And in preparing for this podcast, because we've been talking about this for a couple of months, so we've both been going down rabbit holes that we perhaps haven't in the past. I have found myself watching, and I wish I was exaggerating, hours of Kayla theories. For a while, I always had that little, like, inkling of, like, you know, maybe she's lesbian, maybe she's queer, maybe she's bisexual, like, whatever, but, like, maybe she likes girls. And then Karlie happened. And I mean, regardless of, like, the sort of conclusion that you come to, because I'm sure people have watched it and come to the conclusion they're just friends. But, like, as a gay woman, I don't know if I'm definitely looking at it from a bias, absolutely, because it's something I want. But it's also, I don't know, perhaps I see things from a different angle of just, like, female relationships where you can kind of pick up on those things. So anyway, I was very opinionated about that whole relationship and was, I think, hoping that they were a thing. That's why, for me anyway, that and kind of years of me just kind of, like, wanting her as sort of part of the community. In the same way I wanted Kristen Stewart, and I'm sorry, but I fucking called that years ago. I think because of that and because we had so many young starlets who were kind of painted as these, like, straight women and, like, purely straight. And it's, like, from a marketing standpoint, like, oh, you date boys and you know, you date people in your industry and, like, you know, you're in these, like, romantic rom-coms and, you know, you're going to end up dating your co-star and, like, all this sort of shit. Like, the paint all of this. And I think having more and more of those young women who are subjected to that in their careers sort of come out and be like, actually, I'm queer or bisexual or I'm full-blown gay. Yeah. It's been, I think that's kind of what subconsciously made me think that maybe me was going to be a coming out for Taylor. Yeah. And we hadn't heard from her for such a long time because not only did Reputation drop, and she obviously toured and all that, but her silence in the media between Reputation and then this album, like, I don't think anyone realised she actually didn't fucking talk to anybody between 2 albums dropping. No, true. And, like, you know, she's been living her life. She's been growing up. She's about to turn, like, what is she, 30 this year? Yeah. Released an essay about, like, the top 30 things that she's learned in 30 years and all that sort of stuff. And you sort of come to, like, you read things like that and you finally hear from her again and you're like, oh my God, there's been so much growth happen. Yeah. And I think because of the silence, I'm like, this could be it. Yeah. Like, she started to speak out about politics and she got people to register to vote and she finally sort of put her stamp on what she believed in. And, you know, that was, like, nearly a year ago when she did the whole, like, Instagram post where she's like, I don't align with my current representative. and in the past I did,
Yeah.
and I'm changing my vote, and I want you guys to vote with what you believe in. Like, that was huge. And I was working in advertising at the time, and so we were looking at a lot of like influencers and stuff like that, and I just remember looking into that really deeply and actually being like, that's a machine. And like the responsibility that she just took on to voice her support of the LGBTQ community, which is also what made me think that Mia was going to be coming out, because the reason she no longer aligned, at least from her statement, was a big part of how they were treating the LGBT community and women. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Welcome to the party. We're glad you're here.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is Mia going to be coming out? And then the whole fucking video was a rainbow video. I'm sorry. I'm still not convinced that she hasn't come out.
Let's talk about the film clip. Like, other than the rainbow situation, I also think like the first opening scenes is very like blank space Taylor Swift. You know, like her screaming and like acting a little bit crazy, insane. And I think that was a good way to start it. I think, because it was just like a throwback to the old Taylor, and then like her transitioning into this new Taylor. And I think that's pretty cool, like 100% pretty cool. And I also loved that there were tons of callbacks to her old stuff in this. Like, I have to say props to Insider, who I watched on YouTube, the Insider video about the Easter eggs in the Me film clip, because they also pointed out that the butterflies are an aesthetic she's had since her first album. Like our first album
it was on
cover.
The first cover.
Yeah, it had like the first cover, and then like the dress that she was wearing with the black top bit, and then like the tulle at the bottom was like, it was reminiscent of her aesthetic in blank space, but also it's the dress that resembles the one in like she wore on the Red tour, which I thought was quite interesting, except with flowers on the bottom. Like, I didn't notice that until then, but there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, she's it's a pretty insane sort of film clip from start to finish. Like,
yeah, a lot going on. Lot fucking going on.
Oh, there's so much going on, and I think like the amount of detail that's actually in it it's like, I don't know, you'd actually have a mental breakdown, I think, if you actually tried to properly decipher this.
Yeah.
I really loved like Brendan Urie's whole involvement in it.
Yeah.
He just like, for a duo partner on a first single after a while, he was just like, it was like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah. And plus, like, he's always been like a showman, an entertainer. And I think that's like kind of great that them together in that film clip, they had a lot of fun, because they both had like a similar showmanship, which I enjoyed. Like tit for tat in that music video was like, he was extra, she was extra. It was all like really fucking extra. And it was just like so good to see the energy between them and how they played off each other in that film clip. And I thought it was just a lot of fun. I mean, people like at first when I heard it, I was just like, okay, I was expecting more darker Taylor, more Reputation Taylor. And I was a bit taken aback, because I was like, okay, so we're going pop again. Like, we're going down the bubble, not bubblegum pop, but like the pop that's just like happy-go-lucky pop. So at first I was like, I'm not sure what direction she's kind of taking this next album in, because I just thought, are we going to get a grungier Taylor this time? What are we going to get? And like, knowing Brandon Urie was like collaborating with her, I thought maybe she's going a bit more Panic at the Disco this time. Like, you know what I mean? Upon like When You Need to Calm Down, like, Me was like a strong start, but Me I know is not going to be my favorite Taylor track. Like, I just know, like, to be completely honest, like, I love the song. I think it's a great beat, because I listened to it when it first came out on repeat. Like, I'm not going to lie. But then You Need to Calm Down came out, and I was just like, fuck yes. Like, you Need to Calm Down was like my Shake It Off, like when she did 1989. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, You Need to Calm Down is the jam I am going to be fucking dancing to in the morning, at night, just like in the car. I just know it. And like, I'm already playing it way too much, more than I should. Because like my Shake It Off thing, like the Shake It Off era for me, like lasted 2 years on and off. Like I was playing that song a lot. a lot. And, like, this You Need to Calm Down is, like, in the same vein. But I think with you Need to Calm Down, I think it's unfair for people to draw comparisons. Like, people were drawing comparisons between You Need to Calm Down and Mean. And I think that that is terribly unfair. I think that people are just like, You Need to Calm Down just shows, like, how Taylor Swift hasn't grown. That's what people were saying. And I'm just like, oh, no,
if
I don't think so.
read one more of those fucking articles,
Like, to be fair, though, like, we're part of that industry. And, like, I'm not...
100%.
I'm not, like, having a go at anybody or anything like that. But I think there are certain media organisations that are currently in the sphere that do kind of, like, have that narrative about her, that do say, she's always playing the victim. But I think in this one, she's kind of just saying, in You Need to Calm Down, she's kind of saying, like, people need to stop doing this because I don't care anymore. Like, I genuinely don't. I think she's genuinely saying, I don't care anymore. And the language in You Need to Calm Down is very different to Mean. Like, with Mean, I felt that it was a bit, like, I feel like it was a bit slut-shamey. If you just, like, sorry, I'm just, like, typing into the computer to bring up the Mean lyrics.
No, that's like, all right, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, like, these ones, like, the Mean one is a lot more, I guess, for lack of a better word, like, more high school. Like, she's saying, like, the high school bullies that she had, you're going to be mean, I'm going to be so much better than you, and all that kind of thing. I think that is kind of a different conversation to what she's saying in You Need to Calm Down. She's kind of saying, like, in Mean, like, it was from an era where she was kind of like, it was in kind of the same era.
That came out.
Yeah, it was kind of like in the same era as, is it Better Than Revenge? That song that everyone thinks is about Camilla Bell?
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah, it's the same album.
Yeah. Is it?
Revenge?
I remember, like, Better Than Revenge and Mean were on the same album, I think. And, like, there's this lyric on it that's just like, she's not a saint and she's not what you think. She's an actress. She's better known for the things that she does on the mattress. Yeah. Which, at the time, like,
it was fine at the time, but it didn't age.
It didn't age well. And, like, even then at the time, I think I felt some sort of, like, rearing of the head going, well, I'm not comfortable with this lyric. This is a bit of judgment there. And I wasn't about it. I was just like, that makes me feel really uncomfortable that you're shaming someone for living their life. Like, it doesn't matter, like, it doesn't matter what they've done to you. Like, you can't slut shame them. And I'm not into that. No. You know what I mean? I'm not into that. And
totally.
And I think this one, like, You Need to Calm Down, is a lot more positive, like, a lot more, like, you can say what you want about me. You can say what you want about me and I'm not going to care about it. And she's not tearing anybody down, like, in a really personal way. She's kind of just calling them out, going, how about you spend less time comparing me to other women and saying nasty things about me? Like, where do you get the time? Because I don't have the time anymore. And, like, it's damaging for me to think about the things you say about me and do to me. So what I'm going to do instead is just move on with my life and ignore it, which I think is, like, a very empowering message. Like, much more empowering than Mean or like, Better Than Revenge, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think too, like, when Mean came out, like, it was released in 2011, and we all know at this point that Taylor's writing stuff years in advance. Like, there's certain songs that you can definitely pick sort of where she was when she was writing it, but there's also ones that are a little bit more general that are there to kind of sum up a broader experience than just one occurrence. And I think Mean's kind of one of those things, like, in her sort of coming up and getting to speak now, which was, a little bit more poppy than we had heard from her in the past. Like, I don't know, I feel like she'd already copped so much criticism at that point. It's like, I kind of understand where Mean's coming from, because what she would have been, I don't know, 2011, like
early
like
20s.
21.
Yeah, 21, 22.
Like barely a person. Let's be
Yeah.
real. No one's a person at 21.
Yeah.
And like we all think we're people. We all think
Yeah.
we're like hot shit who are
We
like,
think
oh, we're
we
adults
know
now.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, like we're adults. You can't tell me what to do. I'm in my 20s. And then like 21's a weird year. And so yeah, I think like releasing that at the time, it's just like, you know, she was coming into her own. She was already dealing with all the criticism. She's probably still a little hung up on all the bullshit that she was getting from people she knew in high school. Because, I mean, she didn't move away from Nashville. And so it's like, yeah, to compare sort of back then when you're sort of growing up to a woman now entering her 30s, being a little bit more sure of herself, understanding that even in the past she's been shit at pegging herself against her competition.
Yeah.
We just live in this like constant, essentially it's a news cycle of drama where we only care about people if it's either negative or it's like salty or interesting. It's kind of where society is at the moment because we're all trying to like ignore the other issues.
Yeah. If anybody can hear like that squeaking in the background, I'm sorry, it's my dog. He's having a bit of a whine because I think my husband just left the house and he's just sitting by the bedroom door going, why is no one paying attention to me? Sorry to interrupt. Just in case if people are hearing me and going, come on, Snoop, up. You can jump up on the bed. You just need to just be more quiet. Up. Good boy. Lie down. You're cool. Don't come
Just
this
mark
close.
him up. He might have some opinions on you need to calm down.
I think he just needs to calm down.
But yeah, I think back to your point, like the sheer comparisons of comparing something that was nearly like it was 8 years ago.
Yeah. A lot of people don't understand that. Taylor's been doing this for a very long time. She's been doing it for a very, very long time. She was like 17, 18 when she first really got big. And of course you're going to say stupid shit. And I think that this song, You Need to Calm Down, shows nothing but growth on her part.
Yeah.
Not only does it show growth on the fact that she's grown as a feminist by, you know, saying, you know, hey, it's pretty fucked up that society compares women to other women. It's pretty fucked up that, you know, the queer community faces this kind of like hatred in society still. And also it's kind of shit that, you know, me and Katy Perry are always constantly feuding according to everyone. And I think that is like so important in this film clip that she's shown that I'm grown. I'm trying to move on. I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to right wrongs. Like, I think that, you know, that period where she didn't speak out, you know, at the start of the Trump era and like in the lead up to the Trump era, she didn't speak out politically. I think You Need to Calm Down is her saying, I'm sorry. I really messed up. I should have said something sooner, but I didn't. But here is what I'm trying to do now, and I'm trying to right my wrongs. And I think that's all people can ask for. Like, what can she do now? Like, Trump's the president now. Like, what can she possibly do? Yeah. You know, like, what else can she do in this scenario but fight against something that is so... fight against something that is so against what she believes in now. You know what I mean? Like, that's all we can all ask for. And I think...
Yeah, totally.
And I don't think it's productive for people to keep, you know, calling her out about past things. Like, if she does these things again, that in her 30s, then sure, I'm fine with that. You can call it out. But so far, all I've seen is her showing nothing but love, growth, respect. That's all she's shown to me in this new era, and I'm here for it. I'm like, yes, of course.
I think too, like, you hear about one thing that I sort of did after You Need to Come Down came out, because I was thrilled. Like, I watched the music video when it premiered. Actually, like, it was quite late here. I think it was like 10 p.m. or something. And I know we were messaging, but my fiance Cal really had to go to work the next morning quite early, and she's like, can we please go to bed? And I'm like, no, like, I'm gonna be buzzing and you need to see this, because like I very excitedly showed her like the lyric video when the song dropped and was like, this is like fucking game changing. Like, the text message to her was just like, you need to come home from work, I need to talk to you about Taylor Swift. And she's like, oh, for fuck's sake. And
I bet she's really glad that we now have a podcast about it now.
oh, she's stoked because she's so, like, literally the other day she said to me, because I was, like, talking about something to her, and she's like, shouldn't you be saving this for the podcast? And I'm like, that was a really subtle way of telling me to just shut up, because she does not care as much. But, like, when, like, You Need to Calm Down, like, the music video dropped, because I saw all the hints of, like, who was in it. And, like, I mean, she did the whole Stonewall performance a couple of days prior, and I'm like, that's fucking cool. Like, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I really love watching reaction videos to anything in, like, pop culture. And there was one in particular where it was this group of gay men who were all, like, pretty masked. And it was, like, pretty funny to kind of watch them be like, oh, we're going to watch Taylor Swift music video. And there was a couple of, like, you could tell were fans. Yeah. And by the end of it, when Katy Perry appeared, because everybody was like, will she? And then, like, everyone was pretty shook that she actually fucking showed up.
I know.
There were two gay men that were sitting next to each other, and one very clearly did not like Taylor Swift, and one very much really did. And by the end of it, you realise that he didn't like Taylor Swift because he was a Katy Perry fan. And what I kind of loved about that, and I saw a couple of tweets about this too from different people, a lot of people saying that took away from the message of the video. And then I saw a lot of gays be like, I'm talking to my friends again. Like, we have not been able to talk about Katy Perry or Taylor Swift for so many years because we end up fighting with each other because they're both hardcore stans. And they're like, she has just reunited the gay community.
Yeah, exactly. Single-handedly.
She's standing up for women's rights. She's standing up for the gays. She's standing up for, like, just people talking shit online too. Like, whether it's the media talking about her or, like, people just, like, throwing shade in Instagram messages and tweets and, like, all that sort of stuff. And I think, like, the lyrics of that song are very much like, you know, you say it in the street, it's a knockout, but you say it in a tweet, that's a cop-out. And it's, like, true.
Yeah.
Like, we live in this fucking obnoxious society of people will say whatever they want in the comment section, or, like, they will be just the shadiest bitch online, but in person they're so fake to your face.
Yeah.
We just live in this, like, perpetual thing of, like, if I have an opinion on something, or if I like something, or if I'm just, like, trying to, like, contribute to a conversation, am I going to get absolutely railroaded by people picking me apart? And I think, like, that's a universal experience existing online is, you know, everybody's just going to be nice to each other. Like, I feel like that's where we've come around with this whole thing. It's like, everybody just needs to be nice to each other. Look, Katy Perry and Taylor Swift are friends again. Everything is right in the world. Except for all of the other shit that's not right.
Equilibrium has been restored.
We haven't quite gone back to the good timeline. We're still very much in a dark timeline. But I feel like maybe we shifted slightly to a slightly lighter timeline.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, I did want to, like, now that you bring up Katy Perry, I need to know your opinion on this. Because I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, so did Katy Perry wear the burger costume to the Met Gala? Was that like a chicken or the egg situation? Like, did she do it because she knew she was going to be in this video? And so she wanted to drop an Easter egg at the Met Gala pointing to this video? Or did she get asked after the Met Gala to be in the music video?
Yeah, and then
you know what I mean?
Like, played on it.
Yeah. Like, I just want to know, because I know that they made up before, like, this whole thing started. Like, before, you know,
and before
Taylor
the cookies
dropped,
and all that sort of shit.
Yeah. You know, the public kind of, like, reconciliation.
Yeah, they definitely...
Yeah, I just wonder, like, what's your opinion on it? Like, I'm just, like, sitting here going, like, if, like, I wouldn't put it past Taylor Swift to go, hey, Katie, can you wear this burger to the Met Gala so I can drop an Easter egg at the Met Gala about my new film clip? Like, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, first of all, I didn't even think about that, but now that you say it, I'm like, oh, God. I don't know, the Met Gala was, like, this year's, like, theme was camp, too. Yeah. And so... Like, I mean, I didn't get the burger. Like, there was a few, like, takes on the camp theme. Yeah. Like, at the Met Gala where I'm like, I don't know. But it was Katy Perry and it was a fucking burger costume and it looked great. Yeah. And I was, like, fine with it. I'm like, someone designed this for Katy Perry. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. I would, like, I mean, the sort of skeptic in me would be like, no, Katy Perry wore that, and then they went, oh, it's a good idea. But like the timeline of the music video is hazy to me because there's a lot of stars in that. I'm sure everybody like signed like big NDs, like saying don't talk about it. But like when she did the interview with Ellen and she was like telling everybody, oh, there's going to be an Easter egg for the next like single on Ellen, and the Easter egg ended up being fucking Ellen because she's in the music video.
Yeah.
Like, people have picked up that Ellen had the tattoo that she was getting in
Yes,
the music
I
video
know.
in that
I saw
interview.
that.
And so I'm like,
Oh my
okay, did they
gosh.
shoot it on that day, or did Ellen put that back on to be part of the Easter egg? So, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's all these things where I'm like, everything is very purposeful, but knowing when everything was actually taking place, she's so good at concealing that I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, who knows? I wonder if she reads, like, or, like, hears people talking about this shit and just, like, sits there like Mr. Burns with just, like, a big excellent, because we're all slowly seeping into, like, fucking insanity, trying to figure out what she's doing.
trying to say. Yeah.
Oh, God, how good would it be to be the game master up the top, just being like, oh, little ones, you have no idea what's coming for you. But yeah, like, I mean, I hadn't even thought about the burger thing, but then that would totally fucking make sense, because otherwise it's just, like, really random in the music video, isn't it? Like, I get the whole, like, Happy Meal and they're friends again. It makes sense. Like, it's a cute little, like, come together. But where does burger and fries come into the rest of that video?
This is what I'm saying.
Dear God.
We're talking like Met Gala was like what? Like, Met Gala was
Wasn't
like
that
what?
long ago?
Yeah, it was like ages ago. And it was just like,
was it like May or was it April?
hold on.
But still,
yeah,
it was
it's
Monday.
May.
Like, we're in July.
It's still May.
Yeah.
And her film clip came out what, in April? Oh no, not April. Sorry, I'm getting my timelines confused.
Came out
But,
like middle of June. So like a
yeah,
month
middle
ago.
of June. Yeah, a month ago. I feel like there might be some
it's
crossover.
entirely possible.
I think it is
Because
too.
it's close enough. You know, you don't just like plan a music video overnight.
You
So
don't.
like, to think that she would plan it between the Met Gala and, like, yes, you can pick and choose certain areas, but Katie would have had to have a discussion months ago about whether or not Katie was comfortable being in this music video.
And also if she had the time to be in it. Like, they're both superstars.
Schedules.
Like, scheduling.
And Katie just released a new single, like in April or something like that.
Yeah.
So like, she's back on it too. So
entirely
like,
possible.
Yeah.
See, like, I think Tumblr is the best place for that.
I love Tumblr so much. The Swifties on Tumblr, there are two things that because I've had my Tumblr for years, and I've recently sort of gone back onto it because I remember how much I love it. It is great for, like, just fandoms, like, and stans. Like, you can find a stan Tumblr for any topic that you want, and I have two things, which I don't know whether or not I want to admit this, but I go there to look at all the Taylor Swift theories because they're just better at it than I am. And the other thing is Tumblr really, really got on board with Brie Larson and Captain Marvel, and I also really, really got on board with Brie Larson and Captain Marvel.
I feel like if you didn't, you need to wake up to yourself. I'm sorry to isolate anyone. I'm not one of those people who likes isolating people from a conversation. But I'm like, Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, like, it just makes sense. Oh, okay, I digress now. We're digressing. We're going into, like, another podcast.
We're going to have to start another podcast. It's just, like, women who we obsess over.
We should probably cover this point about what are we going to expect from Lover based on the Easter egg so far.
Yeah, true.
Like I said before, I think we're going to see a more progressive Taylor Swift. Like, I think we're going to see a lot more political statements, a lot more, like, fighting for women's rights, for the LGBTIQA plus community. I think she's just going to have a bigger voice and a bigger presence on the political stage. Like, what do you...
Yeah, I agree. I think she's got a lot to say. And I think for many, many years, and I think if we look at where she's at now, just from, like, her label perspective and the fact that she's just changed labels, and I think it's already sort of been quite clear with You Need to Calm Down at the very least, that she's able to apply her voice to this music in a way where she's not hiding secrets. Like, she's blatantly coming out right now and just saying exactly what the fuck she means.
Mm.
In the past, she maybe had to, like, tippy-toe around those things because of her image and, like, who she was and, like, what she was doing. And the past 6 albums, like, I think she had to really keep up that thing. And I think sort of seeing her struggles with the music industry at the moment and, like, the whole, like, Masters fiasco and all that sort of whatever, like, without touching into that, like, just the fact that she's made a choice to move on after 6 years and start fresh, and we're getting a completely different Taylor Swift, one that we've wanted for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
And then sort of looking back on those eras and kind of, like, seeing her drop hints about, like, you know, I was asked to put 3 country songs on 1989 and I had to fight and say no. And I wasn't allowed to call Speak Now Enchanted, which is what the original name of the album.
Yeah.
Because I was told that life isn't a fairy tale. And I think, like, you sort of add up all those little things and you see her speaking out now, and you see her sort of choosing a side now and establishing herself as a voice. I agree. I think there is going to be more of a, this is what I think, this is how I feel, this is how I've been feeling for the past 3 years that you haven't heard from me. And I've collected my thoughts and I've put them in an album for you. And I think, like, you know, and then you look at songs like Me and you're like, oh, great, like, there's still going to be those bops. You know, they still have little hidden meanings in them that people can relate to, but they're not, like,
in your face.
Be like, no. And I think, like, I mean, she hinted to the Dixie Chicks in the Me music video, and we all know that the Dixie Chicks are the fucking country queens of telling people to get fucked.
Yeah, like, if anybody doesn't know about the Dixie Chicks, they were really big against George Bush, who was a huge, like, he was from Texas, and the Dixie Chicks are from Texas, so it was a really big deal for the Dixie Chicks to just be like, we don't like George Bush. Like, no matter what your opinion on George Bush is, like, them saying that was a really big deal, especially for their fan base, because, like, so, like, that's just for people who don't know, like, how big of a deal it was. At the time, it was a huge deal for them to say that. It was a huge, huge deal.
It was, like, a very big deal at all that, like, country music stars were speaking out against anything.
Yeah.
Or, like, even coming out as, like, Democrats.
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, ridiculous. I mean, now we have country singers who are openly, like, gay, and that's fucking incredible. But back then, and that wasn't that many years ago, it was a really insane time. And I mean, if nobody has sort of looked into the Dixie Chicks, one, like, stop this right now and go and do that. But like, they ended up releasing Not Ready to Make Nice a couple of years after all of that, where they're just like, you know what, they were the first kind of, like, cancel culture in there. Like, they really fucking experienced people being like, nah, not listening to your stuff. Like, like, they got boycotted and they couldn't tour for, like, people wouldn't take them in their venues. Like, sort of throwing back to that, and sort of in Taylor's music, like, obviously they're a big influence too on her sort of early career. I think that ode too is just like, you know what, there have been people before me who have done it and they're fine, and I love and respect them. And I'm kind of hoping that was also a hint to, like collab, because that would be everything. But, like, so I think we're going to see maybe more collabs. I think we're going to see more political statements. I think we're just going to, like, catch up with her and hear her side of the story from why she's been so quiet. And I don't know, I'm really excited about that. I think there's this new era. She's in control. She owns this shit. She's going to make it exactly what she's always wanted to make it.
Yeah. And, like, having said that, like, the Dixie Chicks thing, like, she also referenced another, like, icon in You Need to Calm Down, like, Cher. Like, let's talk about that. Like, you know.
Iconic Cher quote.
Iconic Cher quote. She referenced it, and it was like, Mum, I am the rich man, right? That's the quote. Yeah. So, like, in an interview, Cher, like, was recalling a conversation about one she had with her mum about how her mum's just like, you know, don't you want to settle down? Don't you want to marry a rich man? And Cher's, like, response was like, Mum, I am the rich man. And, like, I am a rich man, sorry. I don't want to misquote it. I'm sorry if I did. So people don't come for me. But yeah, like that again to me is just like her referencing and acknowledging and respecting the people who've come before her and saying these women have spoken out about what they believe in and they still have a career. They are still going. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's pretty cool.
I think so too. And I think like what kind of worries me about it slightly is it's like there is this like people are kind of like, I don't know if they're like numb to it, but there is a sort of general consensus, at least online in sort of those pockets that everybody, those echo chambers everybody talks into. There is this like constant criticism of like, oh, it's a different time, dude. Like, you're not like them. You don't have to face the same adversity as them. Like, it's fine. You can say whatever you want now, like hashtag free speech. And that's not the case. Like, I feel like there are these misconceptions that society has come so far now, which is reflective of like apparently the LGBT community doesn't need pride anymore because we have equality, and like apparently women are fine, like nobody's not getting paid equally, and like all this sort of shit. And it's like, no, we're like the way history like just is kind of parallels itself. We're very much in similar times where you've seen women speak up like this before out of necessity, and it's just always been about a different topic. And I think we're just gonna like, she's gonna probably cop some backlash, and she's gonna like cop that sort of, you know, boycotting nature. And like, you know what, if she's got the balls to come out and do that, which is very clear that Taylor Swift doesn't give a fuck anymore, that's awesome.
Like, I think that, you know, like, having said that, I think people's argument is like, oh, we've come so far, but like we still have a fair way to go.
Yeah,
like a fair way to go, and
there's a long way to go.
There's a long way to go, and I think that, you know, if she wants to lend her voice to these causes, I just don't see how it could be damaging. I just don't see how it could be damaging. If not, it should encourage artists who are like Taylor Swift, who feel like they're living in the closet, for lack of a better term, with their own political views or their own like take on the situation, and it encourages them to like speak out.